We took a break. But we are back. That is the most important thing. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Sammy and I'm live from Mumbai. And on the other side, joining me with his new hairstyle and looking really cool, losing some weight, is Saurav Ganguly. Saurav, did you miss me?
Hi. I missed a lot of things, man. I mean, I missed you. I missed recording it for our people, and most especially, I went through a very bad patch. It was sort of felt like, when you're weaning off some really addictive things, and for me, the last couple of weeks was just about football. So, I think we should just hit bang and get started with we want to talk about. And one of the first things that we wanted to talk about was, Sammy?
No, the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that you really got me scared when you said that you had a very bad week. I really thought something was wrong.
I had a really terrible couple of weeks. I mean, firstly, you lose to Arsenal that way.
What?
I'm so sorry to bring it up, but it's been just there for the last 14 days. So it has to go out of the system, and I'm really hoping that this episode of the podcast is gonna let me channel that negative energy out of me.
I hope so too. Talking about channeling negative energies around us, one of the things that I really want to kind of get an update from you, Saurav, because I have tried to look for it everywhere, online, offline, but whatever is happening with Manchester United and the Glazers, I have absolutely no idea. Are they staying? Are they going? Are they partially selling? What is happening? Is it ever gonna happen? Saurav, please, man, tell me.
Dude, I think it's like latching yourself onto something. Like it's like a parasite. So we have no idea when this thing is going to end. No one knows whether the Glazers are going to stay. No one knows whether the Glazers are going to actually sell it, because a couple of days back I read a report where Jim Ratcliffe came out and said that his side of the Ineos lawyers are aware that the Glazers haven't taken Manchester United off the table.
Okay.
However, from the opposite camp, from Sheikh Jassim's camp, there are signals that, this thing looks to be stalled. Maybe Glazers just want a little more money. The figure that is being quoted right around about a couple of months back was the Qatari segment wants to pay nothing more than about 5 or 6 billion, if I'm correct.
5.6 is the number that I have last checked. 5.6
yeah,
was the number.
Yeah. And however, this part of the deal is where they want to take complete control of the club. And the deal also includes totally reinvesting say about $1 billion or something to either upgrade facilities near Carrington as well as the Old Trafford Stadium.
See, all of that is great, Saurav, but the point is that if the sale does not go through, or if there's no update on the sale, I just feel that overall it's in limbo, and it's been like this for a very, very long time now. Number one. Number two is that
it's been in a limbo.
Yeah, and also I think the fact is that it's kind of trickling down to different parts of the club as well, right? I think if you are an employee at Manchester United, not just a player, I mean even somebody who's working over there, I have been through mergers of corporate entities in my life, and I know that for people who are working over there, it's not a great place to be, because you really don't know what your future holds.
Exactly, it's just not that. It's a lot of things. If I remember it correct, I would like to share an image with you.
Yeah.
Of how the shares of Manchester United had fallen, and there was a record fall in shares on a specific date, if you can see my screen right now.
Yes.
And it was because of the rumors going around that, the Glazers aren't going to be selling Manchester United.
Right.
Now, apart from that, look at this piece of statistic. The total amount of debt has finally touched $1 billion. And imagine how how is even the Premier League or even the governing bodies, I'm sorry, I'm not able to recollect all these jargons, because all of them seem to be not working towards anything, right? Like, how do you let a club being bought over by some sort of leveraged buyout where the owners don't even put in their money? So now I completely agree with you when you say that all of these things are trickling down into into the day-to-day murmurings. I mean, look at it. We have a squad. Do you really think that a Manchester United squad would be looking out for loan signings on their summer transfer window, that too on the last day?
Absolutely.
I mean, ओके फाइन यार, मेरे को पता है, मैं तुझे बताता हूँ, इवन 2012, 13, 14, चलो ठीक है, वॉट एवर इट वॉज, वी कुड साइन प्लेयर्स, चलो एक दो अच्छे बंदे ले लिए कहीं से, कुछ हमने साइन कर लिया. बट अभी तुम्हारी ये हालत है कि तुम सिंस द कोविड ईयर्स यू आर नॉट एबल टू पे एनी डेट, you take money out of the club, you're not investing in the squad, there's a leaky roof, there are players the manager doesn't want to have.
Yeah, and also I think it's just about, it's also a lot to do with stability, right? I think for any team, you know, to come together and perform, I think one of the things that you need to give them is stability. And unfortunately, stability has been missing in Manchester United for a very long time. However, I think with Erik Ten Hag coming in, one of the things that I was looking forward to the most is the fact that he will bring in that stability. But right when he came in, I think this whole situation of the club being up for sale, is it getting sold? Are there going to be new owners? Are we going to still continue with the Glazers? What is going to happen? I think इसमें थोड़ा सा ना प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, मुझे ऐसा लगता है यार.
I couldn't have agreed more with you. In fact, I feel that at a point of time when Erik Ten Hag had come in, you know, media also plays a lot of part. I mean, look at the series of news that is being covered just about Manchester United, you know, how we are not performing well, how issues we have.
Yeah.
So I believe when Erik Ten Hag did come in, people were not really hoping much of how United's going to perform. So it took a little bit of, how do you say this anxiety, that performance pressure off him.
Right.
I'm not saying Erik Ten Hag is not able to perform. All I'm saying is, you know, it goes back to the same discussion that we were talking about the last time around. Every time Manchester United have qualified for the Champions League, the owners haven't put in their money.
Yeah.
They might have signed a couple of players.
Right.
Look at Manchester City. They just won the treble. They have bought a 80-year-old defender. They bought him. They've invested heavily in other places of their squad as well.
Right.
They sold people off.
Right.
So it has to do with how the club functions. It has to do with every department of the club. You know, it's like a machine. It's a cog in the wheel. It has to turn. Every part has to work. So
totally agree.
I mean, frankly मैं तुझे बताऊँ, at this point of time in the club, look at us. I mean, the international break hit.
Yeah.
We had news of Jadon Sancho and Erik Ten Hag going off. There was Jadon Sancho saying, who came out against the coach and said that, you know what, there isn't any sort of issues with me training. However, there is a problem. There must be something else. So, what kind of a cryptic message are you sending?
And also, sort of, you know, while somebody does that, you know, a player doing that, who do you think is at fault over here? Do you think that Erik Ten Hag, while he was asked the question, he could have, you know, being very diplomatic, he could have totally avoided the topic and said that no, he's not here for whatever reason. But he did choose to kind of pinpoint the fact that Sancho was not training up to the standards. He did bring that up. The player did react, however, which I don't think he should have also. But do you think that this whole fire was started by Erik Ten Hag in the first place?
Dude, there is no fire here, firstly. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
If you date back to the first year of Erik Ten Hag and Sancho's, maybe it was his second year around or the third year around, he's tried everything. Erik Ten Hag came in. Erik Ten Hag sent Jadon Sancho off to Dubai to train on his own.
Yeah.
He put an arm around his shoulder. He gradually eased him in. But still, after all of this, if there are reports that, you know, a player isn't performing, I do not think it was very wrong of the manager to come out and say that, you know what, it was a direct message to Jadon Sancho saying that there are better players around. We have a squad of 25 people. You weren't able to perform on that day or that entire week, and I'm sorry to leave you out. But if you really want to get back in the squad, maybe you need to work hard. I do not see it how this this
This is wrong.
conversation
Yeah,
has
how is this wrong?
right now mushroomed into, how is this wrong?
No.
I mean, look at all of this happens everywhere. Yeah, come on.
No, but sort
I
of,
mean, I work
my
at a
point
place,
is a little different,
you work
right?
at a place.
See, my point is a little different, right? My point is that this could have been said to Sancho not on a public forum.
Privately.
And
You mean to say
absolutely. Privately, right? If the
Mm-hmm.
manager has gone out and said this publicly, then don't you think the player is also entitled to kind of have his say on the matter publicly? Like, I'm just being devil's advocate here, okay? Don't shoot the messenger.
Dude, I don't think so. No. I don't think so. I'm not going to shoot the messenger either. I feel, like I said, this whole matter has been taken really out of context.
Yeah.
What Erik Ten Hag meant was that, on that specific week, Sancho hasn't performed and hence he's not in the squad. If there are some performance-related issues, then that needs to be addressed in the training ground, of course.
Correct.
Now, what I'm trying to tell you is that he's tried all of these methods.
Right.
Now, if you look past all of this, if you look and date back into his last final years at Borussia Dortmund, there had similar issues with the then coach there.
Yep.
Jadon Sancho used to not turn up on time. Jadon Sancho admitted to having a sleeping issue, which initially people thought was a disorder, but it was more because of his lifestyle choices.
Yep.
If you listen, you're a professional footballer. If you choose to stay up till 3 in the morning if you want to play some games, that doesn't mean the club can't expect you to come for training by 8 a.m. in the morning. That is not their problem. That is your problem.
Yeah.
You're getting paid that amount of money. You're getting the honor to represent a club.
Yeah.
And after all of this, if you feel that, okay, भाई मुझसे नहीं हो रहा है, आज नहीं खेल पाऊंगा, ट्रेनिंग भी नहीं करूंगा, तो भाई ठीक है, तुम्हें नहीं खेलना है, मत खेलो.
भाई हम ना
स्कूल में भी
हम स्कूल में भी इससे ज्यादा प्रोफेशनल थे, मुझे ऐसा लगता है, पता है, कभी-कभी इन लोगों को.
I think so too. This whole matter, it has really bothered me for so long. It has bothered me for the last couple of weeks for sure.
Right.
For the last couple of weeks.
तू इससे ज्यादा बॉदर मत हो, क्योंकि अगला मैं जिसके बारे में बात करने वाला हूँ उसमें तो तेरे को बॉदर होता ही है. ठीक है, बहुत सिंपल है यार. मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड के राइट विंग में जो भी बंदा खेल रहा है, whoever is playing on the right wing, alright, has some issue with their partner, either beating them up or being violent with them. I don't know what is going on. Latest man to be affected by all of this is Anthony. I don't know why, but he's gone on a leave of absence this week from Manchester United, and the fact of the matter is that he has been charged with violent conduct with his partner. Although what I'm reading online now, mostly people are talking about the fact that he's going to be released. There's not, like, there's no fuel in the fire anymore.
Substantial.
Yeah, there's no substance in that, right? I think he's going to be released. Things are going to be fine. But what is going on the right wing of Manchester United? First Mason Greenwood and now Anthony.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. We're going through that kind of a phase. I mean, it's just bad news after bad news after bad news after bad news, and it doesn't seem to be ending. It seems like a never-ending cycle.
Yeah.
It's most unfortunate to have players like that. It's most unfortunate to have these off-field issues that are really, really something that really bothers everyone, right? I'm pretty sure it will be bothering any sort of a person. But come to think of it, you had Mason Greenwood,
right?
You had this Anthony situation. Now you have an issue with Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
Now there is a huge void in the right wing itself, but I do look at it as a sort of an opportunity.
Okay.
Because I feel when Ahmad is back, and I believe that's going to be somewhere around November, I think this place is up for grabs. So I think people like Facundo Pellistri, maybe say even Ahmad, couple of months down the line, they can actually fight for that place. So I mean, yeah, if you can look at it in two ways. I'm thinking of it as a glass half full, half empty sort of a thing.
Right.
I'm thinking that for far too long, a lot of people have said that Facundo Pellistri is really something. He performed really well in the preseason, if I can tell you.
Yeah.
I followed a lot of the games. I missed out on a single game only. That was an Arsenal game, I think. But
right.
But people like Facundo Pellistri, he's so good with his feet. He's performed at a national level. He plays for Uruguay. So like I said, I mean, I think there is so far too many options. That I know it just seems.
And the fact that
right
sort of
now
he's
we are not
young,
able
right?
to do-
He's one of the young guns
He's
in the
very
team.
young,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. Totally correct. But, talking about the fact that people in Manchester United need to learn the meaning of the word consent. Another individual, and I'm very happy about the next bit of news, is the fact that somebody who did not take consent seriously on a world stage, I'm talking about none other than Luis Rubiales, has been suspended by the Spanish FA. Finally, it's happened. We did call
Yes,
for it in
yes.
one of the episodes when we were discussing him. Mr. Rubiales is no
Yeah.
longer part of the Spanish Football Federation, also known as the RFEF. He's not the president of the Spanish Football Federation anymore, and FIFA has provisionally suspended him. Thoughts on that?
I think, yes, I mean, it was long pending. They should have done it right after the game,
Yeah,
after all of this just broke out.
yeah.
It's taken its due course, I understand. I mean, because we're calling for people's heads, it doesn't really work that way. But I'm very glad about it. I'm really glad that FIFA has actually taken this step. The Spanish FA has decided to do it. There was a lot of pushback from Mr. Luis Rubiales as well, where he said,
Absolutely.
I haven't done anything wrong. And this is the kind of mindset that really I do not get. Now,
You're not alone.
it's
You're
good
not alone.
he's
Nobody gets this, bro. Who does this?
Dude, seriously, यार तुम सोचो, मतलब Spain's just won the World Cup and this is what you do, and the whole saga becomes now about you,
Correct,
yourself,
correct.
and where it shouldn't be in the first place.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I just want to read out, the statement that's been given, sort of, for everybody
Yeah.
who's listening to us and not watching us on YouTube. If you are on any of the audio platforms, this is exactly what's written over here. FIFA, World Football's governing body, said on Saturday, the chairman of the FIFA Disciplinary Committee, Mr. Jorge Ivan Palacio from Colombia, in use of the powers granted by Article 51 of the FIFA Disciplinary Code, also known as the FDC, has decided today to provisionally suspend Mr. Luis Rubiales from all football-related activities at national and international levels. This suspension will be effective as of today, is for an initial period of 90 days pending the disciplinary proceedings opened against Mr. Luis Rubiales on Thursday, August 24th. So basically 90 days is the period for which he has been suspended as of now. But I think that's very common practice for anybody in a position of power. You are removed from power for a specific amount of time while there is inquiry going on, and then they kind of, absolutely, and then they kind of decide on the final course of action. Fair enough. I think this is something that a lot of people have. The only person I feel, or the only people who were kind of siding with Luis Rubiales was himself, and I think probably some parts of his family. I don't think anyone else was really up for this.
There
right?
was, I mean, how do you forget this? His mother really locked herself up inside a church, and then she was saying that, my son is innocent. So all of that happened.
I don't think Auntie saw
I mean,
I don't think Auntie saw the footage properly. हो सकता है.
Forget it, man. I mean, I really don't think this guy deserves any more attention than we are
I
already
agree.
giving him.
We're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about bad apples. One has been plucked from the Spanish FA, but another one who's been a bad apple for Manchester United for some time before he was asked to go. And it seems that he has not mended his ways. I'm talking about none other than Paul Labile Pogba. He seems to be in trouble once again, and he has been suspended by Juventus. And this, I believe, is because he was having a really good time. He's tested positive to drugs. Is that true? It is, it seems.
यार मेरे को तो पता नहीं है, but भाई साहब मुझे तो लगता है Paul Pogba's luck has really run out.
Run out का क्या है? नहीं. Sorry, Saurav, सुन मेरी बात. सुन मेरी बात यार.
Dude, it's really luck. I do not think. Okay, firstly, let me say it.
कोई luck वक नहीं है यार. He deserves it. Saurav, he deserves it. Okay, for all the troubles that he's given Manchester United during his playing days. He's played some great matches, no doubt. But towards the end, with Mourinho being there, the way he kind of conducted himself and made it such a problematic situation for Jose Mourinho in the first place, I think he deserves it, dude. Sometimes you get too big for your own shoes. That's exactly what's happened with this guy, according to me. And people might troll me, say 20,000 things about me. मैं कोई भी अपना जो एक्स प्लेयर है उसके बारे में जनरली बुरा नहीं बोलता हूँ, अपार्ट फ्रॉम इवन फॉर दैट मैटर एंगल डी मारिया के लिए भी मैंने अच्छा ही बोला है ज़िंदगी में. मैंने बोला कि यार उसका नहीं जमा हमारे साथ, उसने जाके स्टेटमेंट दिया जो स्टेटमेंट एट सम लेवल सही भी था, ठीक है. बट विद दिस गाय पॉल पॉगबा, तो मेरे को बहुत गुस्सा है इस बंदे पे, मेरे को नहीं पता.
Dude, Paul Pogba's, I mean, I'm saying why his luck has run out is because since he's returned to Turin, he's been plagued with multiple injuries, right? I mean, he's barely played a couple of games.
Yeah.
And now this whole thing about how much they tested a banned diuretic, or was it?
It was a diuretic.
They tested testosterone.
No.
Yeah, they tested he positive for testosterone or something.
Huh.
Okay, so yes, it doesn't look good. It doesn't really look good for someone who really won the World Cup, I mean, there was so much expectations about Paul Pogba. I mean, I always felt that this was a talent that, if put to right work, if that had its own application, that motivation to perform,
Absolutely.
Paul Pogba would have been one of the best midfielders of his time. I do not know what is happening with him. I really hope, because every time I really looked at him, I watched him play, it really felt that, this is someone who can really dictate plays. He was so smooth. He was so... It's effortless when you watch him.
Dude, he was a vibe. I'll
tussle
tell
with
you
the
what,
ball
he was
with-
a vibe. When you
Yes,
saw him
man.
play, right, you would be like, dude, and like everything was a total package. He plays well, he passes well, he shoots well, he celebrates well, he dances well, he's got great hairstyles. He was just the package. He was absolutely, honestly, the closest that I can kind of, if I have to compare him to somebody, or rather kind of, what's the first name that comes to you when you watch Paul Pogba, when you see Paul Pogba, with the entire package, I would say David Beckham. He was like the David Beckhamish kind of a guy, He had that aura, he had that charm, he would play well, and the best part is that सब कुछ है उसके पास, hairstyle है, dance moves है, सब कुछ है, उसके साथ साथ क्या सही खेलता है बंदा. And Saurav, also, you're right, elevated levels of testosterone were found in a random drug test taken after the Bianconeri Serie A clash with Udinese on August 20th. He has been suspended from football because of that. Testosterone high हो गया बंदे का.
Yeah.
But दुख हो रहा है भाई मेरे को इसके लिए.
Bad news, यार.
बुरा लग रहा है, मतलब
I
बुरा
mean,
लग रहा है.
seriously, even I feel so, यार.
हाँ.
मुझे बुरा भी, मैं क्या बोलूँ यार, it's very mixed. It's because the time he moved back to Juventus, it was being touted as, fine, Paul Pogba, maybe he hasn't been able to perform because of issues off field,
Right.
because of issues within the team. And then when they finally said that, okay, Juventus is the best suitable place for him to get some sort of, stability, it's really not worked out. He's gone back.
Yeah.
Now Juventus, he's been there for like 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
2 years maybe.
3 years.
2 years, right?
2 years. 2 years. Correct.
3
2
years.
years. 2
Now,
years.
2
दो
years.
साल, sorry.
And he's barely played about 10 games. So how is it gonna help you? So
नहीं सही है.
and also there are a lot of issues. There's been a lot of issues with his family, and how there has been a whole thing about his brother wanting money off him.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a very bad time for
everyone. Everyone who's watching us on YouTube right now, I'm gonna put this link by goal.com. It's an amazing write-up, by Mark Doyle. The headline is Inside Paul Pogba's Never-Ending Nightmare, Injuries, Blackmail, and a Failed Doping Test. For if you want to know a little more about Paul Pogba and the bad time that this guy has been facing, do click on this link and do check out this article over here. Like I said, it's by Mark Doyle, who you should also follow on Twitter. Great guy and very well written. That's exactly what I am referring to right now. Sort of on that note, अरे नोट लाना भूल गया था. याद है लास्ट टाइम हमने बोला था कि एवरी टाइम वी से ऑन दैट नोट हम नोट लिखेंगे.
हमने बोला तो
यार नेक्स्ट डे से ना एक काम करते हैं, हम एक नोट रखते हैं अपने पास और जब भी तू या मैं ये एक चीज़ मैं सुन रहा था, अपना ही पॉडकास्ट सुन रहा था, और मेरे को ये सब लगा कि हम ये ना ऑन दैट नोट बहुत ज़्यादा बोलते हैं, तो हम जैसे नोट है ऐसे नोट दिखाएंगे, ठीक है ना? बट कितने का नोट दिखाया यार सौरभ? बजट कम है तो
डिजिटल करेंसी दिखा सकता हूं, मैं जीपे खोल के दिखाऊंगा
जीपे एक्चुअली गाइस अगले दिन से हम अपना ऐसा जीपे का जो QR कोड है ना वो यहाँ पे लगा के बैठेंगे, आपको देखते देखते अगर हम पे तरस आए तो स्कैन करके पैसा भेज देना। QR कोड भी लाना भूल गया मैं, सब भूल गया, बट कोई बात नहीं, हम बात करते हैं
ऑलवेज नेक्स्ट टाइम
100% भाई। नेक्स्ट टाइम तू वो प्रिंट आउट लेके आना, तो अपना तेरा और मेरा उसका गूगल पे QR कोड का, ठीक है? पैसे मांगेंगे हम सबसे, ठीक है? हम फिलहाल जाते हैं टुवर्ड्स गोल वीक 4, जिसमें सौरव गांगुली का दिल थोड़ा टूटा इसीलिए है क्योंकि हमारा क्लब मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड हार गया है दुर्भाग्यवशत। वी लॉस्ट इन द लास्ट टाइम वी प्लेड। सौरभ,
कैन आई रियली से समथिंग डूड?
गो अहेड मैन।
मतलब कैसे बताऊं मैं, हाउ डू आई सी दिस? It's a poem by Mirza Ghalib.
Hey,
something like this, okay?
Mashallah.
Yeah.
Irshad, bolo.
It goes something like this.
बोल।
रगों में दौड़ते फिरते हम नहीं कायल,
वाह
जो आँखें से ना टपका वो लहू क्या है?
फिर से वन मोर टाइम।
रगों में दौड़ने फिरते से हम नहीं हैं कायल,
ओके,
जो आँखी से न टपका वो लहू क्या है?
क्या बात है सर, क्या बात है सर, क्या बात, ये बात है,
क्या बात है?
मतलब merely because it is flowing through the veins,
correct,
I am not convinced unless it falls from my eyes. मतलब आप सोच लो कि आपकी आंखों से खून टपक रहा है,
हाँ,
ठीक है?
हाँ।
अब यही दशा, यही हालत है हर उस यूनाइटेड सपोर्टर की। भगवान जाने किसकी माता चढ़ी है हमारे क्लब,
नजर लगाए हमें,
the Arsenal game, that Arsenal game really broke me, dude. You remember? I mean, I was not even taking calls because I really thought that Garnacho had won us the game, but slightest of margins. But then again, you know, a lot of I went around, dude.
नहीं सुनना, for the uninitiated, let me tell you that every Man United game, during the game, I call Saurav at least 3 times, okay? And at that point of time, I know that I'm going to get very short responses from him. For example, if I call him in the 25th minute, he'll be like, haha, I'm watching, you also watch. And he'll hang up, okay? This was the first time that after the Garnacho goal got disallowed, I called him and he disconnected my call. And when Saurav Ganguly disconnects the call, you know all hell has broken loose. Unfortunately, that was the scenario.
It was, मतलब मैं I actually went around. I asked a lot of people about how they really felt about United's performance because you know it was poised very evenly. I felt.
Yeah.
Agar if that goal would have stood, we might have won the game. We might have come off right before the international break with 1 loss and 3 wins.
Yeah.
Or, right? Something like that.
Yep.
But now it is like 2 wins and 2 losses. So it was a matter of seconds.
No.
But where I would really like to criticize the team is ki when you know that the whole rules have changed, now you're gonna have these extended these extended extra time.
Yeah.
You need to hold your concentration यार, मतलब तुम extra time पे उसके बाद जाके you get a second, you concede a second goal and then you concede a third. So that is something where I really wanted, I thought that, you know, United has to improve.
I think one of the places
going forward,
that
I'm telling you.
Honestly, मुझे ना, I agree with you, but another major mistake that I see with Man United, and I had tweeted about this as well, and I think that's where we kind of lost the game. There was this one move where Rashford was charging through with the ball from the left hand side, and he had 2 players, I think Bruno and Højlund, to his right up ahead, and he did not pass the ball. He went for the shot himself, was blocked off, and that kind of summed up the night for me, you know. And honestly, I felt that it was where we lost the game, man.
Yeah, पता है क्या? I'll tell you. Højlund is a very young player. give them a little bit of time to
नहीं
gel.
हॉयलैंड
It
का तो
was a
गलती
very
है ही
high-
नहीं ना इसमें, वही तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ, ये तो गलती
नहीं मैं
उसी का-
रैशफर्ड की भी बोल रहा हूँ, मैं बोल रहा हूँ उसकी भी गलती इसलिए नहीं है, इट्स बिकॉज व्हेन यू आर मे बी you might have practiced like 10 for 10 days straight in the practice arena, but when it comes to a real game experience, it is so much different. Correct? So they will eventually gel. See, I'm not expecting goals galore from Højlund, but what I'm expecting is the team to play better. I'm saying the team needs to perform on crunch situations. They need to assess, they need to understand these patches of play where where you देख पता है क्या, it doesn't necessarily show कि if you have 50% possession or the other person team has 50% possession, या आपका possession ज़्यादा है लेकिन आपने 3 गोल आपने concede किए हैं, so there are issues with the team not able to identify those important moments where they really need to defend as a team. I mean, if you look at the second goal by Declan Rice, he was left unmarked. If you look at the third goal, I understand.
डिफेंस में तो मत ही जा भाई, डिफेंस में तो मत ही जा. मैं तेरे को अपना ट्वीट थोड़ा पढ़ना चाहता हूँ. This I have tweeted on 3rd, right after the game at 11:07 p.m. India time, right? And I've written, the moment the centre backs were Evans and Harry Maguire, we conceded 2. Marcus Rashford was selfish not to pass the ball to Højlund, and Garnacho was unlucky to be called offside. This one is heartbreaking. @Man United. Defense is in not the best shape, bro. I don't think we have the defense for either the league, I mean the Champions League, or the Premier League. I think there's a problem there.
Right.
मेरे हिसाब से. But anyway, let the past be in the past, sort of. Let's move ahead. Let's talk about game week 5. This is part of our PL roundup, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Premier League corner. We are going to talk about, we're going to be optimistic, and we're going to talk about what lies ahead for not just Man United, but for all the clubs at the English Premier League. So sort of, I can see that our week starts, the games start back from the 16th, right? Or is it the 15th? Let's check. 15th को मैच नहीं, 16th से ही शुरू हो रहा है.
It's 16th, yeah. No matches on Friday. Yeah.
Right. 16th Saturday को बहुत सारे matches हैं यहाँ पे. Wolves are playing Liverpool. Aston Villa is playing Crystal Palace. Fulham playing Luton Town. Manchester United welcoming Brighton and Hove Albion. Yes. Tottenham Hotspur are going head-to-head with Sheffield United. West Ham United are playing Man City. And Newcastle are playing Brentford. Top 2 games, according to you, from this week, from this day at least?
I think it's gonna be United Brighton, and it has to. This might sound a little far-fetched, but I think even West Ham versus City is gonna be a good game because it's a home game for West Ham, and West Ham has been a little resurgent. There was a lot of talk about West Ham ki they lost Declan Rice. Okay, that's not gonna work out for them. But look at their team, yaar. I really admire this team. I think our ex-coach, what was his name? This gentleman who used to be our coach back in 2013, right after Alex Ferguson.
Guess karo. Everton
David Moyes, right? David Moyes.
How could you forget that, man?
He's got a phenomenal squad, yaar. यार मैं नाम भूल जाता हूँ. But David Moyes, he's done a very good job too. I'll tell you. I think he's unearthed a gem in Jarrod Bowen.
I agree.
Player, he's been constantly scoring goals for them. Even as a matter of fact, Jamie Ward-Prowse, it was a very good signing by them from Southampton. Mikel Antonio up top, he's a very physical number 9, and so I think in terms of West Ham having a squad is because they actually have a vision. It's because they know as a club what are our strengths. West Ham has traditionally and historically always been a squad that is blessed with people who are good at aerial balls, right?
Absolutely.
They have a squad like that. So I feel West Ham and City. For me, West Ham and City is going to be a very good game.
All right. So I have a quick question for you, Saurav. This is trivia time. How old do you think Jarrod Bowen is? Your options are 24, 25, 26, or 27.
24.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Oh. Okay, let me tell you that the amount of shawness you put into your shaw, you're absolutely wrong. He's 26 years old.
Oh my god. I just lost a ton of money.
QR code, ladies and gentlemen. QR codes will be sent out. But sort of next day, I think. So you're saying that we should watch the Tottenham. No, you said that West Ham versus Man City we should watch. Man United versus Brighton we should definitely watch.
United Brighton is going to be very good.
I feel that Wolves versus Liverpool is the game to watch. Also, ये दो तो है ही, मतलब ये मैं तेरे को डिनाई नहीं कर रहा हूँ, बट मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ कि हाँ, Wolves versus Liverpool. Wolves ने यूनाइटेड के अगेंस्ट क्या खेला था याद है?
भाई खेला तो था, जीते क्या? नहीं जीते. अब तेरे को लग रहा है वो लिवरपूल के साथ जीत जाएंगे?
मैंने तो ये नहीं बोला कि वो जीतेंगे, मैंने ये बोला कि गेम अच्छा होगा. हाँ, मैं एक बार भी नहीं बोलता हूँ कि आजकल मैंने वो what do you say? I stopped doing these predictions.
Predictions you stopped. It looks like there are no predictions.
I have retired. I have hung my boots. Okay, but also on the 17th, which is Sunday, Bournemouth are going head to head with Chelsea. Everton are playing Arsenal. Arsenal has always been one of the greatest rivalries of English football. I think 9 p.m. India time on the 17th is when this game is. मेरे को तो ये वाला भी देखना है यार, मेरे को लगता है मारा पीटी होगा इसमें.
यार पता है क्या? I'll tell you what. I just have the screen up right now. Look at this. 4th of Feb 2023 Premier League. Everton wins against Arsenal at home.
Right.
7th December 2021 Premier League. Everton won against Arsenal 2-1 at home.
Right.
अब ऐसा है कि Everton has played 4 games. They have not won any games.
Yeah.
I think right now they'll be really up to the challenge. I feel Arsenal maybe, I'm giving it maybe like 10%, 15%
Arsenal
soft
have the
chances.
Edge.
But
have the edge,
yeah, I know. I mean, the statistics don't lie, right? They've scored 8 goals, conceded 4 goals. So it's healthy for them. But look at Everton, yeah, they've scored only 2, conceded 8. So, I mean, statistically looking at it, it doesn't. But मेरे को लग रहा है, पता है, कुछ ड्रामा होने वाला है. कुछ
ड्रामा तो होने वाला है. Ladies and gentlemen, Everton versus
Arsenal,
मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि it's gonna be filled with goals and there's gonna be 1 red card. अरे shit, मैंने कर दिया यार. मैंने तो फिर से prediction कर दिया. नहीं करना था मेरे को. अब क्या होगा सारा?
1 red card, हाँ? Okay, 1 red card. हम याद रखेंगे.
और तुम तो निकाल के लाते हो भाई. प्रीवियस एपिसोड्स का एक हार्ड डिस्क है जो सौरव के पास रखा हुआ है. वो बैठ के ना मैच कम देखता है और मेरे ये बैठ के देखता है कि मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ. So that is exactly what he does. All right, so these are the games that we should be watching, ladies and gentlemen. On that note, I think we should call it wraps for tonight.
Yes.
Yeah. Saurav, thank you for joining us. I'd like to say that it was a pleasure having you. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching us on YouTube, let me also tell you that we are available as an audio podcast across a lot of platforms: Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify. We are there everywhere. Do show us some love, and also over here on YouTube, do show us some love by sharing this a little more. Also, let us know what are the things that we should be talking about. We'd love to hear from you. You can also connect with us on our social media. My handle across all social media platforms is @RJSammy07. So, what's yours?
Waza2188, big Rooney fan.
Waza2188 को फॉलो करो, RJSammy07 को फॉलो करो और हमें बताओ कि फुटबॉल की दुनिया की कौन सी बातें आप चाहते हो कि हम दो क्रैक्सपर्ट्स अगले पॉडकास्ट के एपिसोड में डिस्कस करें. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर बीइंग अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस, लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन. विल सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट वन.